All right, so welcome, Elaine, back to the Zoom room for another awesome letting go live session. So let's jump straight into today's email. Say our daily quotes. Will lead us nicely into today's lesson, which is another review lesson. So there's five lessons in one. And so we'll discuss that and then do a meditation to close the session. Okay, so if you can read that headline quote, very short and sweet, today from a guy called Edward Kennedy, who was a US senator, part of the famous Kennedy family.
What divides us pales in comparison to what unites us.
Yeah, a very profound quote, very short, sweet, but to the point. Reminds us of the truth that the principle of unity based on perfect oneness of love is far more powerful than the idea of division based on separation. To learn to apply this simple yet sometimes elusive and easily forgotten truth to every aspect of your life is why you're doing all of the exercises. The ego has made us forget this, hasn't it? It's made us forget unity, and seemingly separation is much more powerful. And these quotes like this are just a reminder that that's actually not the case. It's just an illusion. So applying the simple yet sometimes elusive and easily forgotten truth to every aspect of your life is why you're doing the program and all the mind training exercises and the lessons in it. This full realization application is what Yeshua calls full transfer of training in A Course in Miracles. And that'll help you to be consistently happier, more in flow, more peaceful, more loving in every aspect of your life. Okay, so very short, sweet commentary on today's quote. That leads us nicely into today's lesson. So you can read first review lesson. So it's another review. There's 5 lessons that we're reviewing. You can read the first one, which is number 16, lesson 16, a little review on that, and the commentary in the original and the alternative.
Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power.
Read the key idea. Just the key idea first. I have no neutral thoughts.
I have no neutral thoughts. So, and then they will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. That's the same as well. But thoughts cannot.
Start again, right? Neutral thoughts are impossible. Start again from the top. Yeah, neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power.
Yeah, neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. And they will, because I think it's the same, yeah, it's the same. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. Thoughts cannot be without effect. Yeah. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. I perceive arises from my thinking errors, so the real world will...
As the world.
Oh, I see, yes. As the world I perceive arises from my thinking errors, so the real world will arise in my perception as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts cannot be either true nor false. My thoughts can only be true or false. They must be one or the other, the same. What I see shows me which they are. What I perceive shows me which they are. Yeah.
And then read it from the top in the alternative.
Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I perceive arises from my thinking errors, so the real world will arise in my perception as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts can only be true or false. They must be one or the other. What I perceive shows me which they are. It's true, yeah. At the moment, yeah. I've still got a few false thoughts spinning
No
around.
neutral thoughts. So even a thought like, well, I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'm going to, these are not neutral because you're dealing in an illusion. Those kinds of thoughts make the illusion seemingly real. So he's saying, all thought is either false or true. And obviously you're still going to, if you're operating in the world, there's still going to be a degree of having to function and think about practical matters. But understand that those thoughts are not neutral. Those are part of the ego's construct. And start going more into true thoughts, more into thoughts that correct and heal your perception. Starting to let go of a lot of those, certainly dysfunctional, insane thoughts. Whenever you've got anxiety, fear, guilt, that kind of thought is particularly toxic.
Oh yeah. No, that's well, I've been suffering that of late. Yeah,
you're pretty peaceful, and you say, "Well, I'm going for a walk in a peaceful state." That thought is not harming you.
Oh yeah, no, I can see.
He's trying to get us to really be aware that all of our thoughts count. It's not just like, oh well, whatever. These thoughts don't really matter. Or all of our thoughts, because they're not neutral, matter. They are either reinforcing the false belief system of the ego, or they reinforcing the truth. They're doing one or the other all the time. So he's asking us to be very vigilant of our thoughts in the recognition that none of them are neutral. Okay, so any other thoughts on that?
So that's clear.
Yeah. And what I perceive shows me, what they are. If I'm misperceiving, then I am I'm perceiving the false thoughts. I'm perceiving with the false thoughts. I'm making the false thoughts real. So perception and the thought system that we believe in are intimately related. Can't really divorce them, which is why he spends so much time in this course on training our perception. Because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the thought system plays out. That's where the thought system of the ego or the Holy Spirit is going to be reinforced and perpetuated. Really a lesson, first lesson, and the second one are a call to vigilance, to be like more vigilant of your thoughts. Okay, so happy to go to number 2. I see no neutral things.
I see no neutral things. I perceive no neutral things. Is it both of them or just the alternative?
No, it's a bit an alternative. So read both. You've seen there's some translations there. So we just read both.
What I see witnesses to what I think. What I perceive witnesses to what I think. If
And you
I
see
did not...
the key choice there is the key translation is see becomes perceive, because that's actually what he means. I see no neutral things. He's not actually just at this stage referring to the visual sense. It's more of a perception, which is why we changed the word. It's much more all-encompassing than just one sense, the visual one. Okay, so carry on. If I did not think.
If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. I did not think, I would not exist, because life is the foundational awareness that makes thought possible. Let me look on the world I see on the representation of my own state of mind. Let me perceive the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change. I know that my state of mind can change. And so I also know the world I perceive can change as well. And so I also know the world I perceive can change as well. From the top, what I perceive witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is the foundational awareness that makes thought possible. Let me perceive the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change, and so I also know the world I perceive can change as well.
Okay, so what's he saying in that one? Summary?
Well, thoughts are not neutral, but they can only exist in this foundational awareness. So that's the only thing that can make it possible to have this thought. So we want to see the world as the representation of that state of mind, that pure awareness, because we know our minds can change, and so can the world. So tuning into that foundational awareness, and then any thoughts that we have are relative to that, rather than the other. That drives us mad.
Yeah. So the translation, life is thought, is expanded to because life is the foundational awareness that makes thought possible. So it's the ground of being. Without that awareness, no thought would be possible. The ego and all of its mad ideas wouldn't be possible if you didn't have that awareness. So the ego is built its house on that foundational awareness, which contradicts it, which is why it's never going to be at peace, because it knows that there's a part of the mind that completely undoes it. It's in complete contradiction to it.
So that's the bit about the parable about the house built on sand and the other one built on rock. So the one that's built on rock, it's because they're going through this awareness, and the other one, it's because the sand is built on the ego. So when the wind comes and the storms come, so that's that parable, that you were talking about. So the foundational, the rock one is where we're coming from, this awareness.
Exactly. Yeah. And that becomes the root or the foundation of all of your perceptions. So your entire life is based on that awareness. This is what it means to surrender to God.
I think what's a little bit sort of what makes me a little bit unsure is that there's just so few people that operate in this awareness. So I'm thinking to myself, so who do you think you are? Why, I mean, you've always been a little shy, Mary, whatever. then so why you? You've always been a bit of a, delicate flower, if that's the right word, without putting myself down. So I keep saying to myself, well, why would you be the one that's going to have this wonderful state of awareness? Isn't it strange? And that's the ego again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just telling you what, who are you? You're not anything special. This
No,
awareness
exactly.
is reserved for the likes of Jesus and
The
spiritual
strong, yeah,
masters. And,
they're really toughies, So yeah, so I keep sort of thinking, oh God, am I just wasting my time? And that's unfortunate because we all go through that phase, don't we? Oh, I need a
hmm,
whatever.
you're just trying to get you to doubt that awareness. Because remember, this foundational awareness makes the ego irrelevant and unnecessary. So it's fighting its corner and saying, no, 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 no. Forget foundational awareness. Who the hell do you think you are to
Yeah,
have that? That's way beyond you. That's for the special people like Jesus and the Buddha, whoever else, spiritual masters. You're not a spiritual master. You're just a
no,
little Elaine, and don't forget it. And you can't
delicate
have
little
this.
flower.
That's
Yeah.
that's beyond you. Um, because it doesn't want you to find that awareness and live in that awareness. Because if you do, then the ego is over. That
Mm.
awareness is the undoing, complete undoing of the ego. So of course
I
it's
mean,
going to resist.
I know when I'm talking to myself like that, I'm saying, "Oh God, you're talking rubbish. You're part of
Mm,
humankind. Why?" So it's just a built-in sort of negative programming that's been with me for many, many, many years. Yeah,
yeah,
and I
it's a
do
it's a lack of
realize
self. It's a lack of loving yourself.
self-esteem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worth this. I'm not valuable. I'm not
Yes.
worth this awareness. This awareness is
Yeah.
reserved for other people who better, smarter, more special than I am. And of course, none
Yeah.
of that makes any sense,
It doesn't
really,
know
logically. But
because
the
I'm the same
ego
as everybody
pride,
else. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's reserved for everyone else, but
It's
that's
funny
not the
why
case.
it's really quite awful, the ego, when you sort of listen to it, you just think, goodness, and
Mm,
when I know the reality, I just think I'm no different to him over there, her over there, that over there, the dog over there. We're all so
mm.
yeah, it's
It's
the
one
right
awareness.
monkey.
And this isn't for anyone special. This is everyone's
It's,
awareness. It's
yeah,
it's what gives you any life at all.
yeah.
So it's just accessing that. In an insane world, it seems like those who find this awareness and really live through it, like Yeshua and other Buddha, other spiritual masters,
And people like
are
Eckhart
very
Tolle
special
and
because they're
yeah,
unusual. They stand out in an insane world. The sane stand out because everyone's insane, and so they seem to be
but
outliers in the
some people
society.
like Byron Katie and those, they've sort of tuned in more to their awareness, haven't they? Byron
Yeah.
Katie and all of those, and Moji and all
Mm.
of those teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They seem to have got a good mastering of it, haven't they? But through
Yeah.
sheer
So
suffering.
they've learned to control their mind better and access that awareness more often, more of the time
Mm, yeah,
through, usually there's a process they've gone through themselves. There's disciplined thought and practice
it is
involved.
discipline,
Yeah,
definitely
there's
discipline.
discipline that they were willing to discipline themselves and go through that process to get to a state where, largely they are in this foundational awareness
Mm,
most of the time. And that's been a lifetime of work for all of them.
mm.
Life is
Well,
this
and yourself
foundation
as
of
well.
awareness.
Yeah, obviously you've managed to tap into this awareness, and I know I have, of course, but you and all of those more so. I'm still sort of a baby.
Yeah, but Elaine, I've been really quite diligent about this
Yes,
practice
you have.
for 18 years. That's a
Yeah,
long
no,
time.
no, that's, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So you're only in year one, really, of
Yeah.
doing the course. I can't remember, but I certainly wasn't in the same state of mind as I am now, and I certainly wasn't as
No.
awakened and as nearly as diligent in my practice. The course started off as like, okay, I'll read this every day. I'll practice the lesson. Sometimes I'd forget to practice the lesson. I'll read some of the text. So I was reading the text, maybe one section a day, something like that.
Mm,
And that was my practice. And it was okay.
mm,
It was a start, but there's nothing like what I understand now. It's been a journey over a long time to
mm.
get to this point. And I still need to practice. Ego can still come in, and it's about using the teachings to let go.
Mm.
So I think comparison to others isn't necessarily helpful. Just go, well, this is where I'm at in my journey,
Yeah,
and
not
I will
compare.
just keep practicing and understanding that this is the way that I choose to live my life going
Mm.
forward. This
There's
is,
no other
there's no
choice,
other,
really.
there's no
Yeah.
other, there isn't really any other way. Well, I'm either going to be letting go continuously, or I'm going to be holding on
Mm,
and getting, upset and fearful and angry and so on. So
mm,
this is the way I choose to live my life, and so it's a lifestyle and it's a life choice. This is
mm,
this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life,
mm,
and that's the infinite game we talked about. Okay, there's no finish line. This is the way I
yeah.
choose to live my life. I can't ever go, right, I've done it now, and that's it. It's game over.
No, yeah, no, I realize that. Yeah,
The day
yeah.
the moment you die, that will be this phase, this journey, this lifetime over. But even then, the game's not over because you
Mm.
carry on. Your mind doesn't die.
No.
So it's more helpful just to go, this is the way I choose to live my life from this moment onwards. And I will
Mm.
just keep doing it. And knowing that
Yeah.
if I keep doing it, I'm on a spiritual path. I'm doing, the one thing I need to do. The only thing you need to do on the spiritual path is let go. And you might
Mm.
use things like breath breaks and meditations and walks and discussion sessions to help you do that. So the
Mm.
practices are designed to help you to let go. But there's only one thing you've got to do, and that's just moment by moment, let go of the ego's negativity.
Mhm.
Okay, so you happy with number 17?
Yes. Hmm.
Really just quite empowering, saying, my state of mind can change. And so the world I perceive can change as well. So the most powerful, the way of changing the world is you just change your perception of the world. It's the only way to really change the world.
Oh, yeah. No, it was, and I have sort of been able to
I
do
just,
that. Certain
uh,
incidents, other incidents, like I say, obviously not so much. The ego all of a sudden takes power.
uh,
So yeah, but I appreciate
just
that's work in
I just
progress.
need to change my mind about the world. That's all I need to do.
Hmm.
That's how you change the world. So, and then you can do that in any moment. There's no order of difficulty in miracles because you can change your mind at any moment, completely, radically, and then your perception changes. And because the world is perceptual, it's not reality. It's just a perceived reality. You change the world in that moment. It took me a long time to understand. That's how simple it is to change the world. Just change your perception, and you can do that instantly in the holy instant, as he calls it. You can change your mind. So this path is just training you to do that and to get better and better at doing that, so that there's very little delay. You get a test, ego arises, and then you let it go, and that need only take a few seconds. You
Oh
can you
yeah.
can get really good
Well,
at collapsing it straight away.
yeah, yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, that's good. Hmm.
Okay. So moving on to number 18 then. I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my seeing. And in the original and alternative, kindly.
I have no private thoughts. I cannot see. I perceive a private world. I have no private thoughts. I cannot perceive a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it would form the basis of the world I see. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I perceive. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. Yet that sharing was the sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so, my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And in the world, my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine. And the world, my real thoughts show me will be revealed to both them and me.
Yeah, so from the top, in the alternative.
Yeah. If I have no private thoughts, I cannot perceive a
Just read the original lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Not alone experiencing.
I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my perception. I have no private thoughts. I cannot perceive a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I perceive. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will be revealed to both them and me.
Okay, so thoughts on that?
Well, the thoughts we think we have are not private, and we can't perceive a private world. But the mad idea of separation has put us, it's given us the form of the world as our perception. Yet that sharing was sharing of nothing. So we can call upon our real thoughts, which shares everything in everyone. So the thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others. And so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them.
So it extends from us. We're either going to project or extend. We rooted in the truth ourselves, and we tend to extend that in our words and our actions. And just by thinking, just the power of thought is immense. So just thinking correctly, loving, kind, helpful thoughts, then helps everyone, because it all goes into the quantum field, this mind stuff, universal mind of thought, and we're all connected on that. They did experiments with this. We talked about them earlier, but I'll mention them again in this context, where the one was in Washington, D.C. They had a transcendental meditation conference, and about 4,000 meditators came to the city for about 6 weeks. And then we were meditating together for hours every day. And crime in the city, the crime rate dropped by 25% compared with previous years. And there was no other explanation
I remember you
than
saying
that.
that one, yes. That's amazing.
So even though they weren't doing anything, they weren't going out on some anti-crime campaign, they were just sitting quietly meditating in their conference room, wherever they were. That had a profound effect on the collective consciousness of the whole city. So that's a demonstration of this principle. And I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my perception. Actually, everyone in that local area benefited. And that was measured by, a fact, a statistic that was, and the police couldn't understand why the crime rate had dropped. There's no other explanation for it than that there was this transcendental meditation conference going. That was all that had changed compared to previous years. So it happens by osmosis, but then it also happens practically by our words and our actions. Now, you perceive, and then you speak, and then you act based on your perception, don't you? And so that's how it extends in practice. And so we need to watch our thoughts, and then our perceptions, then our words, and then our actions. But it starts with watching the mind, watching the perceptions. So before you just react based on a perception, this is the mind watching. Okay, is that perception actually correct? Am I perceiving this correctly, or am I perceiving it falsely? Which goes back to I see no neutral things, and I have no neutral thoughts. Is this true or false? And then go from there. If it's false, then don't listen to it. Just let it go. If it's true, then follow what the truth is telling you to do. Follow the guidance. Okay, so a massive lesson, really. I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my perception because I have no private thoughts, because we're all connected as one mind. If it's a singular awareness or one mind that we really are, then obviously we're all connected. And whatever I'm thinking is going to affect the whole.
So
but not so obvious to the ego. The ego doesn't believe that and says, no, you're separate. How? That's a ridiculous idea. Because look, you're separate. You have a separate body, a separate identity. You have a separate life. So this is all nonsense, because the apparent reality of this world is more real to the ego. We have to realize that apparent reality is just an illusion. It's just a setup to try and get us to believe in the idea of separation. Okay, so and then he builds on this thought in number 19. I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my thoughts, not just of my perception, but of my thoughts. So read that in the original and the alternative sentence by sentence, please.
I am not alone experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am alone in nothing. It's the same. Everything I think or say or do teaches all the universe. Everything I think, say, or do teaches everyone. A son of God cannot think or speak or act in vain. And an extension of perfect love cannot think, speak, or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. I cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of God. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of pure formless awareness. From the top, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am alone in nothing. Everything I think, say, or do teaches everyone. An extension of perfect love cannot think, speak, or act in vain. I cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine. For mine is the power of pure formless awareness.
Yeah, so what's he saying in this one?
Just saying that we're not alone in the effects of our thoughts. We're,
Follows from the first one, actually. You could reverse the order quite easily. Not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts, and my thoughts govern my perceptions. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my perceiving or my perceptions either. Because what is perception but thought? It's just thought sort of extending outwards, extending or projecting outwards, because it's always related to the external. It's perception, it's related to the external world. Whereas thought itself doesn't need to just be about the external. You can think about ideas, concepts. So reiterating the point, you're not alone in experiencing the effects of your thoughts. If you think about this, it can be a great tool for vigilance, can't it? Because if you're not alone experiencing the effects of your thoughts are affecting everyone. As he's saying, you need to watch them. Harmful thoughts are not just harming you, but they're harming everyone. They're harming the whole, apparently. Okay. Any other thoughts on not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts?
No, that's good. Yeah, no, it's very true. Yes. So
Emphasizing that for the first time, actually, in the course, the connectedness. This is a lesson that's repeated over and over and over again in the course in various forms, saying you're connected to your source, one, and then you're also connected to your brothers. And he does that all the time in the course, particularly in the text, have you noticed? You connect with God and your source, but you also need to do that with your brothers and sisters, or companions, as we call them, in order to really know that that's true. It becomes the way out, the way of correcting the mind. Okay, and then final one, I'm determined to see.
I am determined to see. I am determined to perceive truly.
And that's what seeing means. So when he says see, it doesn't mean I'm determined to see visually. Obviously, the seeing is perception. I'm determined to perceive, and the implication is correctly or truly. So that's why I added that word.
Yeah.
All right, and read it in the original and alternative.
Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to perceive truly. I choose to perceive the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I choose to behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one. I choose to perceive the real world and let it teach me that my awareness and pure formless awareness of perfect love are the same.
And from the top, an alternative.
I am determined to perceive truly. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to perceive truly. I choose to perceive the witnesses that show me that thinking of the world has been changed. I choose to behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter, to replace tears and abundance, to replace loss. I choose to perceive the real world and let it teach me that my awareness and pure formless awareness of perfect love are the same.
Hmm.
You found it, Dave?
Okay, so thoughts on that? What's he saying in that one in summary?
Well, he's saying that we're determined to see truly in this pure formless awareness rather than, well, as it says, replace fear with laughter and abundance to be replaced from loss. So we perceive the real world of this pure formless awareness of perfect love, and well, my awareness and this pure formless awareness are the same.
Hmm. So the real world is just the world perceived from this loving awareness. It's not heaven yet, but it's the world corrected in your perception. You understand that? So to perceive truly, you're still in perception, you're still in the world, but pure formless awareness of perfect love is the foundation of all of your perceptions. This loving awareness infuses your perception. So you perceive correctly now, or truly. Not from the perspective of sin and guilt and fear and attack, but from the perspective of love and peace and joy. And that makes all the difference. So the correction mechanism, the miracle, is you must correct your perception first, start doing that while you're still in the world. And that is the necessary prerequisite for awakening to who you really are. We want to have a look at this Holy Trinity quickly. No, I don't know why it wants me to log in. I don't want to do that. Sometimes it does that, sometimes it doesn't. So there's the Holy Trinity. This is saying the real world is the world of form, but perceived from the perspective of the true self, which knows that it is one with pure formless awareness of perfect love. And so it has true perceptions. These are the miracles or the corrections of the false perceptions. So there's a turnaround. And he's saying this is the way home. You're not going to get back to heaven until you perceive correctly, until you're in the real world. That makes sense. So of all the lessons, this one is possibly the most powerful today because it's a call to determination. Okay, I am determined to do this. And he repeats it a couple more times in the 20s lesson. We're going to get to, I'm determined to perceive, and I'm determined to see or perceive differently. And then I think that's lesson 27. Again. So he's asking us to, for determination and a real willingness to commit to changing our perception, because it's essential if we're ever going to awaken. You can't continue in the false perceptions and expect to awaken, because the beliefs, the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs of the ego are then directing your mind. And so it keeps you in the belief in a separate self.
Mm-hmm.
A call to determination and to be really vigilance and determination, I think, are the key messages of these review lessons. You must be vigilant for the ego, and you must be determined to have that vigilance so that you can perceive truly and apply that in all circumstances, without exception. And understanding that you're not alone in your thinking or your perceptions, that is affecting everyone. And so you're either contributing to the at one-ment, which is the awakening of everyone, or you're blocking it. But there's no in between. There's no neutrality. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
So that can be quite helpful, to have that vigilance and watch your mind like a hawk. Say, okay, I'm really aware of my thoughts and emotions. And if they come up, the negatives come up, that awareness helps me to catch them and let it go very quickly. That's the vigilance. That's the determination.
Which is even in the middle of the night, it's just the same, really. Yeah.
Yeah. That can be harder because there's no distractions and you can't just go for a walk.
I was just going to say that is the problem. It's pitch black. Everybody's gone to bed. And you've got these dark thoughts. So,
but you can just face it internally. In fact, it's a great opportunity to really practice this and say, okay, the light is in my mind. The light is not anywhere outside of me. So I've just got to find that awareness, that light within me, which I can do right now, and use that to help me let this go. And there's no distractions. There's nothing else I can do but face the ego directly.
Yeah.
And if you feel you can just do that on your own with the course lesson for the day in your mind and breathing.
I can. I can. And even at nighttime, I can. It's just occasionally you get these dark ones. But it's sometimes it can be a bit exhausting, though, trying to sort of get a hold of every thought that's coming up, because how what it's like when you in bed, you kind of drift. It's kind of a drifting thing. So trying to actually catch every thought, it's actually keeping you awake. So it is a tricky one. That time is definitely a test.
So what I'd advise, I mean, maybe if you do a pre-bed routine, and it's in the I'll just scroll down here. It's in here. Your pre-bed routine would be to read or listen to the text and the workbook lesson, and practice it in a meditation before you go to bed. And then you switch off your devices and then do an end of day reflection. So you have this pre-bed routine to start winding down. You can listen to relaxing music.
Which I've done. I have done that. I have done that. But we always need a reminder, of course. Of course.
So a good pre-bed routine, or you maybe take 20 minutes to half an hour to prepare yourself. You can listen to.
I switch phones off. I do tend to do that. There's a busy mind, then you just there's no point.
So this will prepare you for sleep, and it will also help to release any of that anxiety that's maybe resident. So
jumps up.
You've actually okay, deal with it here. If it's going to come up, deal with it in the meditation. And let it go. Meditation. So the idea of this is clear the slate. The pre-bed, in the same way as the early morning meditation is important because it prepares you for the whole day. The pre-bed cleans the slate of the day. So, okay, so whatever I experienced, I kind of put that to bed. And if I need to let go of something, then I let it go. You see, so I don't go to sleep with that still in my mind, because that's going to wake you up. You haven't actually resolved it. So,
I mean, most of the time I'm, do that. I'm thinking that, it's just these occasional ones just seem to just catch you from nowhere. That's all. But I guess that's just part of the learning.
So try getting, Elaine, here's my advice. Get into a disciplined routine where you have a pre-bed routine and you do some practice using the tools I've given you or other things. And you spend 20 minutes to half an hour preparing yourself for bed, getting your mind into a nice calm alpha state by the end of 20, 30 minutes. And then you go, right, lights out, and I'm ready to hit the pillow. And,
I mean, I get that. Which, as I say, generally does help because, obviously that's the sensible thing to do. Just occasionally, like yesterday, I had a particularly very eventful day. with one thing and another. And it just seemed like not so much the mind, it was more, again, the adrenaline was still kicking in because you were having to rush to do this and do that. So I think it's more the body kicking in rather than the mind.
No, it's all the
But that,
mind. It's all the mind, Elaine.
oh, is it? All right. Yeah, I'm blaming the
There's no,
adrenaline.
the body is not in charge of anything. So the biochemistry, you know, the adrenaline follows the mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
gets produced by the thoughts. So you know, the mind is primary, and obviously you haven't unwound enough. If the adrenaline's going, then you need a pre-bed routine to just unwind, calm the mind, get you into an
Yeah,
alpha state, and that starts to release those chemicals, you know, the stress
yeah,
chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol. But the mind, you know, the mind is primary. The mind is where you make the corrections, and the
of
body
course.
follows.
Yeah, yeah. It just doesn't feel like that when you get that sort of, jump, as they say, when you're just dozing and then you get it. Whoop, yeah. And it's obviously the mind, but it feels like the body because it's the adrenaline, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's all mind because the body is in the
Yeah,
mind. You know, the body is the projection of the mind.
computer just to read me.
So,
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Dave.
What do you want?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to change rooms there.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So shall we do a meditation then
Yeah,
to
yeah, that's a good idea.
practice the lesson, calm the mind, wrap up the session,
No
and
problem, Dave.
the text I'll send you as a recording, and also the summary, the translation and summary of it is in a document. I think I posted it already to the group, but I'll post it again after the session.
Thank you.
All right. So are you ready, Elaine?
I am.
Change rooms. All right. So this is a meditation on today's workbook lesson, which is another review lesson, 54. So there's 5 lessons that are part of this. So just to start with, close your eyes, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, comfortably with your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes and start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, reclench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine to your heart center. You can put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. And then draw it all the way up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile, scan your mind. Noticing thoughts going on, emotions, bringing up anything that's occurring, breathe into it. And remind yourself of the first review lesson that I have no neutral thoughts. As you do that, then repeat after me these words, so you can say them as affirmations. I'll say them and repeat them afterwards as you exhale. So exhale, say neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. And you exhale, neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. Breathing in again. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. Exhale, they will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. Breathing in again. But thoughts cannot be without effects. Thoughts cannot be without effects. Breathing in again. as the world I perceive arises from my thinking errors. So the real world will arise in my perception as I let my errors be corrected. Exhale. Breathing in again. So my thoughts can only be true or false. My thoughts can either be true or false. Breathing in again. There must be one or the other. What I perceive shows me which they are. Exhale on the truth of that. So my perception and my thoughts are really two sides of the same coin. They're integrally linked and connected. Begins with thought and translates into perception. So breathing in again. Nice deep breath in. Then scan your mind, whatever thoughts are going on there. You can open your eyes briefly, look around and say to yourself, I see no neutral things, or I perceive no neutral things. Close your eyes again. Breathe in. And what I perceive witnesses to what I think. What I perceive witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist. Because life is the foundational awareness that makes thought possible. I did not think I would not exist. Why? Because life is the foundational awareness that makes thought possible. So thinking is evidence that this foundational awareness is there. Breathing in again. And let me perceive the world I see as a representation of my own state of mind. Let me perceive the world I see as a representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change. And so I also know the world I perceive can change as well. Exhale on the truth of that. Change your mind, you change your perception, you change your reality. So I also know the world I perceive can change as well. As my state of mind, my thoughts can change, so the world I perceive can change because my perception is thought. So the quickest way to change the world is change your mind about the world, which is what Yeshua is asking us to do. You do that by understanding the power of your thoughts and that you can change them. So breathing in again. Say, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing or perception. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my perception. Breathe in again. If I have no private thoughts, say, if I have no private thoughts, Repeat after me. Exhale. I cannot perceive a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I perceive. Breathing in again. And that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. Breathing in again. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. In the world my real thoughts show me will be revealed to both them and me. Exhale the truth of that. So I'm not alone either in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. Breathe in on the truth of that. Again, as you do this, scan your mind. Notice any thoughts going. Remind yourself, I'm not alone experiencing the effects of these thoughts. Because I'm alone in nothing. Breathing in again. Everything I think, say, or do teaches all the universe, teaches everyone. An extension of perfect love, the Son of God, extension of perfect love, cannot think, speak, or act in vain. Repeat that. Extension of perfect love cannot think, speak, or act in vain. Breathing in again. I cannot be alone in anything. Cannot be alone in anything. Very comforting words. Just feel the power of that as you breathe it in. Every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Realize that you are not alone in anything. So therefore, in my power to change every mind along with mine, mine is the power of God, power of pure formless. So therefore, in my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of God, which is pure formless awareness of perfect love. So breathe that power in, fuse every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind with its power, the light of this awareness. Exhale the truth of this idea as you say, I am not alone experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And exhale the truth of that. I'm not alone experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And breathing in. So I'm determined to see or to perceive truly. Feel that determination rising in you with your breath. Breathe it in. Determined to perceive truly. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts. I am determined to perceive truly. I choose to perceive the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I choose to behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, choose to behold, to see the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, abundance to replace loss. I choose to perceive the real world and let it teach me that my awareness and pure formless awareness of perfect love are the same. When you exhale and you blow it out, let it go. You are determined, say, I'm determined to perceive truly from this moment onwards. And it's going to take vigilance, discipline, but I am determined to do it because the outcome of it is awakening, helps me free my mind from all of it. So just sinking inwards. Watch the breath and let the breath take you deeper and deeper with every breath into this peaceful, calm, still state of mind without illusions, in which only the truth is true. Of clear perception, of full awareness of your thoughts and your perceptions. States of clarity and peace. So there's nowhere else to go, and nothing else to do, and nothing else to think about. Breathe, relax, be still. Surrender to the stillness. And sinking inward and deeper and deeper to the stillness and the silence. Stay here for a couple of minutes. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, observe the breath, relax. Still, and open your mind to this foundational awareness in which all of your thoughts and your perceptions happen. The ground of being has been called by some philosophers foundational awareness, pure formless awareness, perfect love. You don't have to be concerned with the words to describe it right now. Just open yourself to the full experience of it in the next couple of minutes of deep, connected silence. So just gently coming back on this deep connected state. It's an awareness of the body and the breath, senses in the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale, and you smile, scan your mind, noticing thoughts and emotions, related body sensations, particularly anything that feels negative or limiting or contracted or constricted, and remind yourself of all of today's review lessons, that I have no neutral thoughts. Breathing in on this, I see no neutral things, or I perceive no neutral things. I'm not alone in experiencing effects of my seeing or perception. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. And so I'm determined to see or to perceive truly. Say as you exhale, I'm determined to see this, perceive this situation truly. And then exhale. And let it go, just blow it all away. The breeze of your breath. It's going, gone. A dark cloud or black smoke, leaving you. Lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And on the count of 2, just rest here in this gap between breaths in stillness and peace. Just allowing that to arise, connecting with it, anchoring the state in. Carry this state with you rest of the afternoon and evening, and on into your weekend. And so it is said, and so it is done. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So take a minute just to look around, just noticing various objects in the room around you, whatever's going on around you. In this very calm, attached state, no judgment, just pure awareness. Foundational awareness we talked about in one of the review lessons. It makes thought possible. Right? The awareness beyond thought has been called, or above thought. So notice that that awareness is present. It underlies all of your perceptions. Doesn't matter what you look at, just look at various objects, randomly scan the room, focus for a second or 2 on an object and move on, and notice that this awareness is there. It feels peaceful. It feels very calm and peaceful. This is your foundational awareness. You close your eyes briefly. Connect with that awareness as your eyes are closed, then open them. Notice that awareness is still there. Actually hasn't changed at all. Doesn't matter what you perceive. It doesn't matter whether your eyes are open or closed, because it's always there. This is foundational awareness, the ground of being, God, your formless awareness of perfect love, whatever you want to call it. That is your true nature. That is the source of all of your thought and perception. So give your thoughts and your perceptions over to that awareness, and to top you up and keep you in this awareness. Use lessons. You can listen to the breath breaks that I've sent you. It's one for each lesson. So you can choose a lesson you like and listen to that breath break for 3 minutes, just to reconnect you to to this awareness. That's what the breath breaks are for. So I wish you good practicing and a very good, very peaceful flowing evening ahead. That brings us to the end of the meditation and of the session. So thanks, Elaine.
Yeah, thank you. That's very good. It's nice to be in that awareness.
Yeah, did you go quite deeply into it?
I did.
Good. Yeah. So
So
then it's just to carry it with you, stay in that awareness. And if you need to top yourself up, remind yourself of the lesson
yeah,
to reconnect with it.
I
And
will.
that's when the ego comes calling, a little reminder by practicing the lesson, then can keep you in that awareness. So you
Yeah,
keep topping up.
it's interesting because it's so quiet and just unassuming. It's just like I say, there's no description for it, is there? It's just very quiet. Yeah.
It just is, the
Yeah.
isness of
It
being.
is, and
What
it's
else
actually,
can I say? It just is.
and even though I'm feeling rough today with foggy heads, it didn't make any difference. That's interesting, isn't it?
You can still access that awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was very good. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Yay.
Yay! It's the weekend.
I'm enjoying being in this piece rather than getting excited.
Yeah. Joy. Just
I will. Yeah. No, thank you very much. Yeah.
all right.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
have
good.
have a good flowing weekend, and
You too.
I'll see you Sunday evening.
Yeah. Okay. Namaste. Good
Namaste,
weekend.
man. Okay.
Bye.
Bye for now. All right, so that's a wrap for today. Thanks to Elaine for joining. If you enjoyed the session, a couple of things you can do. Subscribe to the channel, number one, to be notified whenever I go live, which is 5 or 6 days a week. You can also sign up to receive some of the material I shared up front. Just go to lifebuild.com to do that, and put in your details and your mobile number for Telegram. I'll send you the daily quote, the lesson for the day, adapted, and some of my own thoughts every day. So you can get basically some free mind training material every day based on A Course in Miracles if you go to lifepool.com, and then you're welcome to join us in one of these sessions. So go to theaolg.com to register for a session and join us our next masterclass, find out more about the program, and participate. That's where transformation really starts happening. So I hope you'll take one of those actions, and to meet you on the inside soon. Thanks for watching or listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me acknowledges and honors that same truth in you. Peace. Wishing you much love, peace, and joy. And a lovely